second observation that we're going to make is related to the importance of transportation cost. IIT index is likely to be influenced by transportation and shipping costs in the following way. We might think that a country has a clear comparative advantage at producing one good, and we expect to see specialization occurring in that industry, but then again realize um, that if we look at the IIT index, there's both imports and exports in some industries. We might be tempted that we should throw away our idea of comparative advantage, but sometimes it's just a matter of the fact that we are considering countries as if they were economic units, while in reality, um, our geographic unity, which is a country, doesn't necessarily coincide with an economic region, which is probably a more appropriate unit for our analysis and to compare it with the predictions of our economic models. So think about a country that might be extremely vast and the production might be taking place in very distinct regions in this country very far from each other. Shipping goods between these regions might have extremely high costs, and sometimes um, it might be just more convenient to import these very same goods in which the country as a whole might have a comparative advantage from other countries that don't have a comparative advantage at producing that good, but that become very competitive at producing it once transportation costs are taken into account. Think about the Pacific Northwest region. That region has large abundance of wood because of geographic and climatic reasons, and our economic model seen in lecture 4 suggests that they should have a comparative advantage at producing wood related products, and so they should export them, and indeed they do. They export wood towards to Canada. If we focus on the western provinces of Canada, like British Columbia and Alberta. However, think about how far Boston and the northeastern United States are from the Pacific Northwest. It's thousands of miles. And in Boston, which is an economic region that doesn't produce a lot of wood, it's more convenient to import wood products from Quebec, so from eastern Canada, rather than have them shipped from the Pacific Northwest, which would be the most productive region, at least in a relative sense, where to produce wood. So if we think about this situation, we see that the United States are exporting wood to Canada from the Pacific Northwest, but they're importing wood from Canada in the Northeast. This doesn't mean that the logic of comparative advantage doesn't work. It would work perfectly if we were to consider, instead of Canada and the United States as a whole, if we were to consider separate regions, say northeastern United States, northeastern Canada, and then Pacific Northwest and Western Canada. In reality, since our unit for statistical purposes and for data collection is the entire country, then we see intra-industry trade and we might think that our logic doesn't work. In reality, some of this intra-industry trade might just be due to these misspecified economic analysis, geographic unit in the data. And if we were to reconsider, then probably the IIT index across nations might go down.